Hello everybody, welcome to the NetBird YouTube channel. In this one, what I'm going to do is show you how to install NetBird on TrueNAS, add it as a peer, and even do some network routing so then you can use your TrueNAS NetBird peer to access other devices in your home network. And doing this is actually pretty simple. First, let's go ahead and sign into TrueNAS here. And what we're going to want to do is go under the apps, and then we're going to go to Discover Apps, click these three dots right here, and then click Install via YAML. Now, if you go ahead and search for it, you're not going to find NetBird. It's not in these official or community repositories yet. That's mostly dependent on their maintainers, but I do hope it does come soon. But installing it with a quick YAML is pretty easy. So here, I'm just going to call this NetBird. And then what we need to do is go to the documentation for Docker. So if I go to docs.netbird.io, under Getting Started, we're going to go to Docker here, and we're just going to grab this Docker Compose file right here. It adds a volume for our configuration files. We have cap add for some system resources that I'll need some access to, and we're going to need to go ahead and change our host name and our setup key. But for now, let's go ahead and just copy this and then drop it on into TrueNAS. So give that a paste. There we go. For the host name, we could put in something like, this is our TrueNAS instance. It's our only instance of TrueNAS, so I don't really have to get too specific in the naming here. And now we have our setup key. So if you don't have a NetBird account, it's really easy. You just click Try NetBird, and it'll actually walk you through kind of an onboarding process where you can install it right from there. Run some ping tests, get everything up and going. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and generate a new setup key. So after you create an account, log in, we're going to head over to setup keys here. I'm going to create one. This is going to be specifically for TrueNAS. I'm not going to make it reusable. And let's add it to a group. This is going to be in the home lab group. You could assign it to whatever you want. If you're running this as like an office server, you can name it something like Berlin office servers. We have main office subnet, office resources here. Actually, let's just go ahead and call it office resources. And then we will create that setup key. Here's our key. So we just go ahead and give that a copy, head back over to TrueNAS, and then paste it on in right there, getting rid of that space. And we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and click on save here. And it looks like we have a little pretty simple error. Let's just get rid of the capitalization here. So just NetBird like that. Get rid of the space. And now click on save, and there we go. So we're going to give this just a minute, and then we can see we have NetBird running right there. And now if I head on over to our NetBird dashboard once again, let's close this out. We can see that that key has been used. If I head over to peers, we have TrueNAS right here, ready to go. So technically, if I signed on to my NetBird account with a client, for example, I have the macOS client right here. If I signed in and I was remote, or if I even went on my phone, signed in, I would be able to access my TrueNAS instance. Well, of course, if I added a proper policy, if we go under access control policies, let's say this policy right here, this is the IT admin main. I'd open something like this up, IT administrators, that's my current user group. So then I would just want to add office, and we'd want to add those office resources so my IT admins can access that and then save that. And that's all we'd really need to do. Of course, you could create a new one, so on, so forth. Now for networks, if you have other machines on your network that you don't want to or you can't install a NetBird peer on directly, what you can do is use the networks feature. So if I head on over to networks, I think I already have one in here. Yeah, office network. Let's go ahead and get rid of that because we're going to do a little example here. Let's add a new network, and we're going to do this for the entire subnet. We said this was an office resource, so again, we'll just call this office network. We can add that network. Let's go ahead and add a resource, and this is going to be our subnet. So I'm just going to subnet here, and you'll do the kind of blank subnet IP address. So for me, it's going to be 0.10.0.0.0-24, or with a mask of 24. Groups, you're going to want to give it some sort of group so you can get permissions for this subnet to use. For this, let's do main office subnet and add that resource. So now create a policy. We have the main office subnet here. Let's say we want our IT administrators to be able to access it. You can see it's a one-way connection. Of course, you get real detailed with the actual ports and everything, but for the admins, the whole subnet is going to be fine. We'll continue. We're not going to set up posture checks, but this is really cool. If you're actually doing this as a business, you can make sure people have like certain processes running, such as CrowdStrike or some sort of antivirus, certain operating system, certain country region. But we're going to continue. Subnet policy looks good. And we're going to want to add a routing peer. So this is the peer that's going to actually handle the routing. So for this, it is going to be TrueNAS. So there we go. TrueNAS, continue. We're going to enable that routing peer. All this looks good. And there we go. So now what I'm going to do is actually test this out. So I could go up here and let's switch from my local network that all this is on to my personal hotspot for my phone. So give that just a moment to connect. And now I'm going to head over to NetBird and actually establish connection. So there we go. It's going to prompt me to log in, and within the NetBird settings, you can set up like certain time frames in which this will expire. So there we go. Login successful. So now if I head on over to my TrueNAS instance, I should be able to just grab the NetBird DNS name here and then use that. And there we go. So you can see truenas.netbird.cloud, and that actual netbird.cloud can be customized to whatever you want it to be. But just like that, I'm technically on a remote network. And if I do TrueNAS admin and then my password, should be able to just log in real easy, just like so. And theoretically, since I enabled a routing peer, I should be able to access everything within my home network remotely. So if I go to something such as 81, which is a different resource, it's actually a different NAS operating system. If I go over to that, we can access Unraid. And again, I am not on the same network. I'm just using TrueNAS as a routing peer to access other resources. So yeah, that is how you install NetBird on TrueNAS. So then you can access your TrueNAS instance from anywhere in the world, and then set up networks so you can access your entire home lab from anywhere in the world. And better yet, you can enable high availability, you can set up exit nodes, a whole bunch of different things, which we're not going to have time to cover in this video, but I will link down below to the documentation and some other video resources you may find interesting. So with all that, do make sure you subscribe for more content like this. I do hope you have an absolutely beautiful day, and goodbye.